these are the cards that we're going to make today. Both of these cards were hand foiled using the Gemini FoilPress system, and also the We Are Memory Keepers Foil Quill. And so let's begin. Okay, I'm going to be using a FoilPress stamp for this project. This is Gemini. This is called Pretty Peonies Background. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some heat-sensitive foil. This is We Are Memory Keepers foil. And I'm going to use some red. So I'm going to start by just laying this on top of the foil. And then I am going to just cut it. This is another We Are Memory Keepers tool that I'm using to cut this. Okay, and I have my Gemini FoilPress here. And I'm going to start by placing the background stamp. Then I will place my foil down with the pretty side down. Put my cardstock. And the typing paper shim. And the top. And I've reduced the time to 40 seconds on low heat. And I'll carefully remove the platform and send it through my Gemini Jr die cutting machine. And now I'll carefully remove the transfer sheet of the foil to reveal the final result. And this turned out quite nicely. Now, I didn't realize I wasn't recording when I set this up. So the layout here is the metal shim that came with my foil press. The waste material right here, I placed on top of that with a good side down. Then I placed my cardstock on top of that. Then the shims that I used were a piece of copy paper and 4 sheets of cardstock, and then my top plate. And then we heated it on the medium setting for 65 seconds, or 1 minute and 5 seconds. And so that's how we got to here. And so let me see about releasing. And I'll just carefully remove this. And then this is how we foil the waste. And next I'm going to trim down these panels using my paper trimmers. Okay, and so here are 2 foiled backgrounds using the Gemini FoilPress. Okay, next I'm going to foil a sentiment on some white cardstock using the same foil that I did. So I've placed my foil quill magnetic mat onto my ScanNCut mat, and I'm going to load it into my ScanNCut. And I've used my ScanNCut canvas to create the sentiment, so I'm going to go to Retrieve Data from the Internet. And here's the sentiment that I've got. The inside is going to be foiled and the outside is cut, but we're just going to start with the inside part. But I will first start scanning in the background. And then I'm going to move my sentiments so that it's in firmly on the foil, and the magnets that I've got holding the foil down is not going to interfere at all. Okay, and I've got my medium-sized foil quill here that I've had heating up for a while. And so I am going to take the blade out of my ScanNCut, and I have this plugged into a power bank. And so I'm going to just slide my foil quill blade in, like so. Then I'm going to click OK here. Let me zoom in. We'll click OK. And I'm going to want to draw. And so here you see is just the sentiment. And then I will just press Start. Okay, it's finished, and I'm going to remove my foil quill. I don't want to leave it sitting in there, and I'll just put it in its protective dish. And then we will uncover this, see how it looks. And it looks pretty good. Now I'm going to want to make another one also. So what I'm going to do is make another one down here. So I'm going to Okay, and so now I'm going to remove the foil quill and then unplug it from its power source so to let it cool off. And now I'm going to want to cut out these foiled sentiments. So I will eject the mat from my machine, and I'm going to remove the magnetic mat and just place the foiled sentiments directly onto the cutting mat so that I can cut them out. I have my foil sentiments loaded onto my ScanNCut mat. I've removed the magnetic mat from the mat, and now I'm loading my auto blade. And I'm going to scan in the background again so that I can line up my cut file with the already foiled sentiments, and so that way I can get cut out these sentiments. Okay, and now I am going to cut out the other foiled sentiment, and so I'm going to repeat the process that I did the last time and cut out the second sentiment. Okay, and now I want to cut out a mask for my sentiments. So I have created another cut file that's 1/4 of an inch larger than the original cut file. And I've got 2 of them since I've got 2 of the sentiment cutouts. And I am going to cut this out of some black glitter cardstock now. Okay, and now I'll just use some glue to glue the sentiment onto the mask that I've just cut out. And now I'll use some thin foam tape. I think this is 1 millimeter thick foam tape to put the sentiment onto the foiled background. And I'm going to use a card base that's 5 inches by 6.5 inches, and I'm going to use some of the scrap black glitter cardstock so that I can have a stripe along the left-hand side of the larger panel, and I will place the larger panel. And for the smaller foiled panel, I've cut a mask from the black glitter cardstock that's 4 3/4 by 6 1/4, and I'll place the smaller panel onto that, and then I will glue that onto the card base. And I have some dewdrop embellishments that I got from Tuesday morning, and so I will place some of those onto the card. And for the inside sentiment, I'm going to use a Stampin' Up! Stamp set that's called Bright Wishes. And I'll use some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And here are the final cards, with the inside sentiment saying, wishing you brighter days to come and hoping it helps to know how much I care. And the outside sentiment saying, I hope you feel better soon. And once again, this is all completely hand foiled, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!